Hello, this is Matthew Fagan, and this is my midterm technical presentation. All right, let's get into it. All right, so the tasks I've been undertaking, we are creating a 2D dungeon crawler game, so I've taken upon myself to create an inventory system for our game, because our hero needs a way to pick up items, recover health, and enemies need to drop items. So, my first task was laying the groundwork for this inventory system. And a lot of this was problematic because you wouldn't be able to see really progress for this because I'm just making inventory classes and setup for that. So I created a UML diagram to show all of that. All right, this is going to be a little bit, I'm going to talk about this. So I started off creating an item class that all other items will be able to spawn from. And as you can see, I built in a factory design pattern because these items are going to feed into item stack, and item stack will feed into item slot. Now, as you can see, I want to point out some things. Loader here is handling the try catch that you need to have for images. So that loader will go to any item, and right now I only have potions, so it feeds into potion, and potion is an implementation of the item, and then the item goes into item stack, and basically what item stack is doing is taking any item and putting it into a format that can be read and rendered by item slot. Item slot will actually be handling the rendering of my items later. We're going to get back to it. And then, so yeah, I'll go to the next slide. So these were my child stories for Sprint 1. As a gamer, I wanted to press I and the inventory would appear on the screen. As a gamer, I want to press I so the inventory will disappear. And as a gamer, I want the inventory to render properly so it does not interfere with other aspects of the game. So I'm going to go back one slide real quick. This UML diagram shows all the groundwork I laid, but it has nothing to do with these first child stories. So the first child story was actually completed by doing an inventory class. So I created, okay. So we have a method called GameData that already handles enemy figures and friend figures. So I just modified that and added this new class inventory. So it renders basically this new figure onto the screen that's neither enemy nor friend. It doesn't interfere with the pieces around it. So as you can see here, I've updated my UML, so item slot will feed into inventory. Now, as you can see, well, I'll get to that in the next sprint, but both item slot and inventory both have a render class, and that'll be coming into my sprint 2. So, child user stories for sprint 2. As a gamer, I want items to touch to appear in the inventory so that they can be used, and as a gamer, I want enemies I kill to drop items so they may be picked up. So to accomplish both of these tasks, I just had to modify already existing classes, not really create anything new. So I create a sequence diagram. The hero will have a collision handler that collisions into item potion. Now, item potion is just a game figure I created and that game figure will remove the item from the screen when the collision handler happens, and I'll feed into item slot. Now, item slot will be added into the game. We'll add the item into itself. We'll pass the item to item stack. Item stack will, of course, go to items, take the information it needs from there, format it, and return it to item slot so it can be rendered. And another child user story from Sprint 2. As a gamer, I want items to be rendered properly into the inventory slot so the inventory looks tidy. And this is going back to my UML diagram. Item slot is actually handling all of this. It will render the items and send that into inventory to be put into the item slots. In the end, you get something that looks like this. Now, with just inventory, it would be each of these little squares. but when item slot feeds into it, inventory says, okay, there's something in this array list, and it'll render the item that was picked up. In this case, it's a potion. And that's what I have accomplished so far. Thank you.